everybody. Today I'll be talking about human performance technology in online learning. My name is Hala Bastauras. I'm a PhD candidate at the School of Education, Liberty University, and this presentation is based on a research paper that has been done to investigate the influence of human performance technology in online learning for a course that is called Principles of Human Performance Technology. The purpose of this presentation is to highlight all the benefits of online learning, and that happens through the lens of human performance technology. I'll be calling it HPT moving on, while applying the constructivism theory. Additionally, in this presentation as well, some of the challenges will be highlighted and some of the appropriate interventions will be provided. Let's start by saying, what is HPT? HPT is a relatively new field, and because of that, there hasn't been any consensus on its definition yet, because it's a field that has been influenced by different disciplines, including cognitive, behaviorist psychology, neuroscience, information technology, and a lot more. One of the very good definitions that was mentioned by Spector in 2015 is that HPT is a systematic, theory-based, and authentic methodology. Another definition was mentioned here about HPT is that it is the study and ethical practice of improving productivity in organizations by designing and developing effective interventions that are results-oriented. As we can see, HPT is all about improving performance and developing appropriate interventions. Now, how to apply HPT in education? At the very beginning, HPT was not applied in education. It was applied in corporate, military training, and then afterwards it migrated to the field of education. It has also been reported that universities and higher ed institutions that invest in e-learning platforms, they see a large return on their investments after a program is being set up and running. One of the key figures here, his name is Tom Gilbert. Tom Gilbert was influenced by P.F. Skinner, Robert Major, and Joe Harless. He developed a model to assess and improve human performance. In his model, he focused on improving the environment more than giving expensive training to employees. And he mentioned that workplace support factors are very important to empower the teams and to help them perform at their best. And some of the examples of the environmental factors, something like providing timely feedback, communicating transparent expectations, providing the appropriate resources for sure, and more. Online learning and its benefits. Online learning has a lot of benefits. In fact, in today's era, it's clearly well known that there is a huge rise in the new technology, especially online education. Online learning offers numerous benefits. It offers benefits to learners, institutions, stakeholders, and educators. Definitely, one of the best things that it's self-paced. People can finish their program, start their program at their own pace. It is a reliable education, and learners can access that at any age, with any social status, and definitely at any location. It is a flexible, borderless, and contains numerous choices, whether at the institution level or at the program level. Moreover, online learning helps institutions to expand beyond their geographical zone. So that means programs are offered online and learners can reach those programs anywhere in the world. And that returns more enrollment for the institutions. Morals in 2010 mentioned that e-learning can provide learners with greater opportunities for engagement by working on activities that are authentic, relevant, and applicable beyond the classroom. Once the program is being set appropriately, learners can have all the authentic, real experience. And stakeholders, administrators still got lots of benefits. One of the benefits that they will have access to all the archived modules and programs been done, and that can be used for evaluation, performance improvement. Another benefit for institutions is that an online learning is a better choice since it's cost effective for sure. It provides less burden from the face-to-face education, and it does not load the institutional's infrastructure. Like some of the authors mentioned that online learning can be an answer for the ever-expanding need for universities and colleges to serve a huge number of students, and they still can control their cost. Mentioning that e-learning has a lot of benefit does not mean that it does not have any challenges. In a very competitive world, definitely e-learning has a lot of challenges. Institutions can suffer. The first thing can be from competition from other providers. LMS providers, the learning management system providers, still is another challenge for institutions, especially the smaller ones, to keep their students' enrollments. Another major challenge here is the reduced funding for public universities. Once the funding is reduced, that affects the programs and affects the services being offered. From a different note, from students' perspective, some of the students believe that distant learning should have reduced cost. They would like to have a reduced tuition because they cannot see all the hidden cost, like the technical infrastructure, the software licensing. All this kind of cost is being hidden from students, and that can cause a little bit of a challenge. Plus, some of the employers, we will see that they still look at the programs in a way that they value the face-to-face more. Outsourcing is another barrier here. When programs and institutions go to outsourcing their curriculum or their programs, the online education, they use the using of external developed content may eventually result in a mentality where courses are treated as no more than facts to be learned. And that definitely does not reflect the needs of the audience or the learners in this exact institution. And the main concern here that those programs might not reflect what the faculty members would like to use or implement as parts or main components in their curriculum. And finally, what would happen that those faculty members will be removed from decision making because decisions are being dictated by external providers. Therefore, education will be treated as a one-size-fits-all kind of training. Another major problem for online learning is the digital divide. Digital divide, as it was mentioned, that it's because not everyone, not all people, children, or countries enjoy the same luxury of having a broadband internet connection. Inequity in digital fluency significantly affects students' educational opportunities throughout their school careers, and particularly as they prepare for higher education careers. Digital divide is a problem that faces online education. It's very hard for an institution to offer an online program where their learners do not have proper valid internet connection. Sometimes they don't have the hardware as well. Another key challenge was mentioned in the literature is that still employers, as mentioned, some of them, they do not value face-to-face education. They do value face-to-face education a lot more than online programs. That affects the enrollment of the students. And a different one here is the dropouts. it was mentioned that dropouts are 20% higher from traditional face-to-face classrooms. And that can be due to multiple factors. One of them can be technology, one of them can be people don't like to be working alone. Sometimes course content is very complicated, sometimes computer literacy, the modes of delivery, lack of technical support from the institution side. All that impacts students' numbers, motivation to learn, and satisfaction. To add to the list of the challenges, educators' perception is another one. Some of the educators believe that they are the main source of knowledge, and once they have this understanding, they only produce teachers-led programs and courses. The other big challenge is the teachers' lack of technological training. And finally, very high competition from different universities and from MOOC, the massive open online courses. All that institutions need to work on. Now, there are compatible models. In the past, HPT was influenced, I would say, by its ancestors' models, as in instructional design, business process reengineering, Six Sigma, ADDIE models, and so on. All those models have been in process, and they have been influencing, or HPT has been influenced by them. For example, PRB is a strategy that has been used in business processes from the 1900s, and it's used to analyze performance, also help companies restructure, cut the cost, improve functionality, and reach best practices. Similarly, Six Sigma has been implemented to improve businesses' processes as well and customers' needs. And this has been done through consumers' feedback that's been taken, identified, and present procedures for future improvement. The relevance of that is once those models have been investigated very well, it is very easy to apply what has been working and avoid and eliminate what did not work. So all the unwanted efforts, costs, and intervention that did not yield great HPT in online education has proven to be very beneficial. Online learning has expanded exponentially in almost every higher institution, educational institution. One of the research services, it's called Chronicle Research Services, in 2009, mentioned that by 2020, almost over 6% of learners will be involved in online learning in one way or another. They did not know that because of the global pandemic, it's almost over 95 to 100% of learners are involved in online learning because of the global pandemic everybody's facing. Having said that, definitely employing the right technology will be very helpful in all the benefits that were mentioned before. Another important thing here that the decisions on how to best harness all these new technologies will be at the responsibility of instructional technology leaders and practitioners. Applying constructivism theory in online learning. Why constructivism theory? Because it has positive effects in online learning, since it can be applied in real-life settings, and that's the most important thing. It addresses and serves the learning needs of students by providing opportunities for increased knowledge, construction, and participation. And lastly, Morals in 2010 mentioned that the fact that pairing learning theories with theories like constructivism would enlarge students' learning to address low students' interactions challenge, because one of the challenges is students' interaction. If the program is not planned properly, then there is low students' interaction, and that causes lack of motivation. and definitely increase the drop rates. We talked about the benefits, we talked about the challenges, and we talked about HPT in education and in online education. Now it is time to talk about the suitable interventions that need to be taken care of. First, HP professionals, because they work in a lot of different environment, they need to learn and be able to fit in a diverse working environment with diverse culture. Understanding different cultures and the ability to fit in those cultures is very important. Therefore, globalization can be considered a key for any research trends in HPT field. Secondly, the means of data collection. Data collection is a very important way to understand the challenges organizations may be facing. Since HPT is all about improving performance, it has to start by understanding the challenges first that organization or higher education institutions face. One of the very good methods of collecting data is applying interviews because it can help HPT practitioners interpret unclear answers, build rapport, and discuss a wide range of topics that might not arise in a written questionnaire. So implementing the right collection data, the data collection method, is a very important way, let's say a very important step in interventions. Thirdly, the dropout rates, definitely the higher dropout rates are a major problem. Therefore, hiring well-informed staff who are fully engaged with their students and plan regular interactions throughout the program can help reduce students' dropout rates. Another method is providing access to interactive online tools. And with that, increasing learners' virtual interaction can elevate learners' satisfaction. Learner satisfaction is one of the huge factors that influence online programs. And by increasing those tools and making learners feel that they are more involved, their satisfaction level definitely would be higher. Another way of implementing the interactive online tools would be discussion boards. One of the excellent methods for engaging learners is to apply discussion boards as an even open format. Synchronous and asynchronous communication platforms is another tool. It increases real-time communication, which will be reflected in building stronger bonds between learners themselves and between learners and staff and faculty. Another intervention here is for faculty and educators to adopt the role of facilitators and not the main source of information. So planning to have student-centered courses. As mentioned before, applying constructivism approach, teachers are only facilitators to help and guide so that learners can take full responsibility of their own learning and can learn to learn and relearn and unlearn themselves. They have the ability to do that. Another key factor of the interventions here that can improve design and outcomes in online learning is applying efficient and accurate needs assessment protocols. Needs assessment is one of the very important steps in planning HPT methods and systems because, as Bercho and Mosley, the absence of the needs assessment can break or stall a performance improvement project. If researchers did not have a proper needs assessment that they can assess the needs of the organization, the institution, or even the stakeholders, the learners or the employees, then how can they build a plan or project? to improve performance. Adding to those key factors when designing intervention is designing learner-centered interventions. Learner-centered education is a must nowadays and is focused on the learner's needs and not on a set of instructions that are created to be teacher-centered. As mentioned before, all size fit all kind of education doesn't work. A chief intervention that many institutions sometimes refrain from doing is teachers' education. A lot of institutions would improve their infrastructure, or they would improve their programs. They will have a lot of online presence. However, they do not think of teachers' education. Improving teacher education is one way of solving this dilemma, so that not teachers graduate with the ability to utilize technology in a learner-centered environment efficiently. The problem happens when teachers are not trained on using technology, and switching from face-to-face to online technology can lead to a teacher-centered program or curriculum if it's not planned properly and if the teachers are not well trained. On-the-job training and continuous professional development would be another way to improve performance that is actually sometimes can be very beneficial as well. Now, finally, as it's mentioned, some of the traditional instructional design models focus on epistemological approaches that are planned to fit learners into one normal curve, where everyone is expected to go exactly at the same pace and at the same level of content mastery. But that does not work with the online learners, because online learners, they cannot fit in that curve. They are lifelong learners, and they need something that's continuously improving and developing, and they cannot fit in that same level at the same pace. And that's personalized learning and constructivism theory can be helpful in the course design. When following the constructivism theory to course design, it can help deepen students' understanding and enrich the learning through student-centered lessons. Some can apply virtual field trips. Some can use personalized or project-based learning. Personalized learning is another way that goes along with the constructivism theory, because it is based on the content mastery per person. People cannot go at the same pace at the same time, but learners would go at different length of time based on how they master, how fast, how well they master the content, and because excuse me, and not because to recapitulate, moving from face-to-face learning to online learning has provoked various challenges for educators, students, administrators, and even institutions. In fact, in COVID-19's era, online learning has become more of a necessity and not so much of an innovation. In fact, almost all institutions, starting from JK to grade 12, higher education, formal and informal adult education, vocational, corporate, or military training, all of those have been mandated to switch from in-class instruction to e-learning, either completely online or in any sort of a hybrid format. Therefore, applying HPT in learning has proven to be very valuable. Even though online learning can present some challenges, as mentioned before, for students and educators or institutions, it has still proven to yield high success rates in terms of better students' enrollment and engagement. In fact, Since HPT depends on being systemic and systematic, research-based and authentic, it starts by needs assessment, it develops, understand the challenges, and provide proper interventions that are cost effective and that are completely tailored to this institution. It is applying it in online learning can be very beneficial. E-learning as well provides institutions that invested in online programs by high return on their investments. In this presentation that has been taken from a research paper, some interventions were presented in order to help improve performance and efficiency. Of course, moving on, more research is needed to be done in the field of HPT pertaining online education, since not a lot of research has been done in that endeavor. Finally, online learning can add to students' experience, raise their motivation, improve students' retention, and all of that can yield several benefits for educational institutions, learners, and educators. Thank you so much for listening. My references. Thanks for your time.